What's going on, guys? Welcome to Carrasco Ranch. My name is Robert, for those of y'all who are new. So in this video, we're going to discuss what's taking place in Australia. As you may or may not have seen on the news, there's large fires going on in Australia that are causing devastating damage. And we're basically going to cover how it's affecting the animals, how it's affecting the environment and the ecosystem in Australia. My channel is mainly about hunting, fishing, and anything outdoors related. But I also do a lot of wildlife management and land management. And all that pertains to ecosystem here where I'm located. So I thought it'd be a good video to do. It's a little bit different than what I normally do, but I thought it would be a good topic for you guys. So if any of you guys are interested in hunting, fishing, or anything outdoor related, definitely consider subscribing to my channel. I upload 2 to 3 videos per week. So for those of you who are just finding my channel, I do this thing where I provide some type of inspiration or motivation in one of my videos per week. So the inspiration for this week is, sometimes we're tested, not to show our weakness, but to discover our strengths. So without further ado, guys, with that being said, we're going to hop into this video. So some of the things I'm going to tell you in this video is the statistics, where we're at with this fire, the overall death toll, how much has been burned, how many animals have been hurt by this fire, and how this plays an ecological role there in Australia. Real quickly, guys, so just to give you an idea of how large this fire really is, the Amazon fire burned 900 hectares of land. This fire here in Australia has burned so far 6 million. 6 million, guys. That's more than 6 times that Amazon fire. That's insane. So for those of y'all who don't know what a hectare is, 1 hectare equals 2.42 acres. I mean 2.47 acres. So almost 2.5 acres. So to convert that for you guys, that's about 14.82 million acres. 14.82 million acres that have burned. And you have to remember, guys, a lot of Australia is actually desert, arid land. So there's not much already there in Australia, in the center portions of Australia. A lot of these fires are along the coastline, because that's where a lot of the plant diversity is at. That's where a lot of the forest land is at. The center of Australia is a lot of desert land, so that's a lot of land that's being covered by this fire, and it doesn't have much to burn in the middle, so it's burning. This is why it's so devastating for Australia, is because the center of Australia is mainly desert. Everything on the outsides on that continent is forest land. So if you take into account it's burning 14.8 million acres, that's a huge impact to Australia's continent. So guys, I have a quick question to ask y'all. Leave it in the comments below. Do you think this fire is caused by global warming? Yes or no? I want to see what y'all think. Continue the conversation down in the comments. Really interested what everybody thinks on this idea, on this topic. See where y'all's heads are at. So some of the sources that all this information is coming from is from BBC and CBS News. This is as of January 4th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. As of right now, almost half a billion animals are believed to have passed away or have died due to this fire. The exact estimate is 480 million. That's quite a bit, guys. And that's coming from a professor from the University of Sydney, there in Australia. He's an expert in Australian biodiversity. Some of the animals that are being really affected by these fires involve the kangaroos, the koalas, the emus, and some birds that live in those forests. Some of those less mobile species that depend on the forest are the ones hardest being hit by these fires. You know, just some quick thinking about this, you'll realize that a lot of the plant material is being burned and is dying. So any of these animals that do survive in these, what now would be burned down forest, I would expect a lot of them to die afterwards, just because there's going to be a loss of food. These animals that depend on plants and other animals to survive, well, there's already a decrease in the amount of animals in the forest. all the plant material has been burned down. So it's expected, and there are some other experts that agree with this, that there will be more deaths involving the animals since there's going to be a lack of food. So even after the fire has passed, there's expected to be more deaths involving those animals that depend on that plant diversity and on those other animals. Some of the animals that have the best chance at survival during this fire is any animals that do bury underground. And the reason for that is because soil acts as a thermal insulator, which means it will resist some change in temperature up to a certain point for the most part. You do have to go, you can't be at the surface level of the soil, but you do have to bury some ways down. So the problem with that is that those animals may survive the initial hit of that fire because they are underground, and that soil will resist the temperature change up above. But when the fire is over, like I said earlier, there's not going to be much food for them to eat. So now they face another problem, finding food. So it's expected that some animals will die because of starvation. So definitely probably looking to see that in the coming weeks past this fire. I mean, it's currently still burning as of right now, but after this fire does recede, it's expected that more animals will probably die. A lot of these rodents and insects that depend on the forest and that live in the forest obviously are not going to survive these fires. And as a result, a lot of the animals above them in that food chain will suffer the consequences as well, if they do make it. Life's a cycle of food chains. I mean, we learned this in school, you know, it's a food chain. You know, everybody's got to eat at some point, the hierarchy of energy and the hierarchy of food transfer. So look for that down the road. We'll probably be seeing a lot more deaths involving animals. So think about it this way, guys. So if there's less insects, then that means that there's less food for these rodents and amphibians that would eat off these insects. And it gets passed on down the food chain. Anything that would eat these rodents or amphibians now has less prey, now has less food for them to eat, and it just continues on the cycle throughout that food chain. So we will see more deaths involving animals later after these fires. There's an estimated 1,400 homes that have already been burned down to the ground. So that's substantial, guys. That's a lot. I feel for these guys. So far, the estimates have been that there are 23 people that have died because of this fire. So there in Sydney, the air level quality reached 11 times the hazard level limit. The hazard level limit. And the reason for that is because of all that smoke coming from those fires. So some of you guys might be wondering or asking yourselves, how do these fires just randomly pop up? How do they randomly just start? Well, they start off because of really, really hot summers, and Australia has a very arid and dry climate. So when you have that and you combine a storm that involves lightning, most of these fires are usually caused by lightning strikes that strike trees or strike homes or anything that's flammable that can easily catch on fire. And they spread usually by the wind blowing. It usually will blow out that fire and begin to spread the fire, and it continues to grow and continues to grow. Every time there's a windstorm, the fire just continues to increase and increase. Before you know it, you have this problem we have now. Just to give you an idea of how hot it gets there in Australia, down here in South Texas, it gets really hot. But we get into the hundreds as well. But in Australia, sometimes those heat waves, they can get up to 113 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's freaking hot, guys. I don't know about y'all guys, but that's freaking hot. So it's no wonder that these fires are easily started. Everything's already dry. There's already less water, less precipitation in the air. It's a good combination for fires to start. And all it takes is a little bit of wind, and that thing will take off. So real quick, guys, I'm just going to show you some small clips there in Australia of the animals fleeing. Just different pictures of what's going on there in Australia, so I can kind of get a visual of what's taking place.
The sad and terrible toll of Australia's wildfire crisis. A professor at the University of Sydney estimates nearly 500 million animals have been killed by the bushfires that have torched 3 million hectares of New South Wales alone.
So that's just insane, guys. You just saw that clip of the kangaroos just fleeing different animals. I mean, that's crazy. It kind of looks apocalyptic, in my opinion. But that's just crazy, guys. I could only imagine what these Australians are going through, seeing everything they've worked so hard for being destroyed. Real quick, guys, I just did a quick Google search of some of the photos that have been taken there in Australia involving the animals. It's pretty devastating. I'm going to show you some pictures right now. Those are all dead bodies of kangaroos and sheep, guys. Insane. This is a photo that has been all over the internet as well. It's basically a kangaroo stuck to a fence. That's really sad to see. It looked like it was a young kangaroo as well. I wanted to give you guys also a map of what the fires look like there in Australia. Most of what the fires are taking place in South Wales. A few is taking place in Western Australia. Victoria is also having a lot of fires. So as I was saying earlier, a lot of this is desert land. There's a lot of deserts here and in these areas. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's light gray. That's mainly all arid desert land. So everything along the coastlines is prominently mainly forest land with a lot of vegetation, and that's why a lot of the fires are along the coast. I just wanted to take this time to thank all my subscribers. I really appreciate it. About 3 months ago is when I really got serious about YouTube, and we've grown to over 112 subscribers as of today. So that's really cool. That's really awesome. And I did want to do a giveaway once I hit 200 subscribers. So what I'm going to be giving away is this Kershaw knife set. So once I hit 200 subscribers, I'll make another video and I'll be giving this out to a subscriber. So I'll give you all the details on how to enter to win this knife set in a later video once I get closer to those 200 subscribers. So I just want to give back to you guys because I really do appreciate it. I appreciate y'all's comments. I appreciate y'all watching and taking time out of y'all's day to watch what I have to say and watch what I have to do. And don't forget to check out any of my videos. They're probably popping up right here. And don't forget to subscribe right here. So without further ado, guys, definitely keep Australia in y'all's thoughts. And like always, be careful, be good, take care, God bless. And until next time, we'll see you later.